Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and please forgive us for the lack of intro music there. I don't know what happened, but we got a cold open. Let's pretend that was deliberate. Anyway, with me this week is.
PJ Coffee from the Southampton Guild of Role Players, also from Homebrew and Hacking, TTRPG Design. I'm extra delighted to be here.
The problem is we press the button and we don't know whether or not the intro music's going to work. So we're ready saying, right, we've either got some intro music or a cold open. Are you ready for whichever eventuality happens when I press this button?
In which case, I was like, I'm born ready.
Yes. Yeah. You'll notice, those of you who are watching, that Jess is not here with us this week, which probably explains why we didn't get any intro music. Jess is on holiday. She'll be back next week, so it's just me and PJ this week.
Yes.
But we'll struggle on. And we have lots of news. Some surprising news. It's all surprising news this week.
Oh, and I have some exciting news that you'll want to have in the podcast, but which I did not get in time to let you put like little images up. So that will be very exciting.
Oh, well, that'll be another thing I'll be surprised by.
It's not a short list, is it, mate?
Yeah. Well, we've got surprising, a surprising product announcement from Wizards. We have got some surprising sales figures from ICv2 on the best-selling RPGs of the year so far. We have got a surprising number of new members of the $1 million TTRPG Crowdfunder Club, which a bit like buses. You wait ages for one, and then 4 come along all at once.
What? Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
This is novel. This
surprised.
Is new. Yeah.
Excited and surprised.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
Hell yeah, let's go.
Okay, then. So, first on the menu, we have got a new survey coming from Wizards of the Coast. Have you taken this survey yet, Peter?
No, not at all. I hadn't even heard of it.
I did it briefly. It's not long. At least I assume so, because a lot of these surveys, they sort of funnel you through, so you might not get all the things. So when I did it, the first question was, how old am I? Then there was a few questions about how do you feel about Wizards and how do you feel about D&D, and do you think Wizards is catering towards you and things like that, sort of. And do you trust Wizards was one of them.
So they just filed you straight into the, we don't want this guy's opinion.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what would happen if I put a different age in. I don't know. Maybe I should do it again with a different age and see if I get different questions. I don't know. So I got that. So that's what it generally seemed to be. And then it asks towards the end, it was only like, it took me like 3 or 4 minutes. It was really short. Which actual plays I watched, which were, of course, none, because they're like 4 hours long. And it was a list of all the big famous ones. Mainly, it was like Critical Role and Dimension 20 and the High Rollers and things like that. And that was it, basically. It was quite a short survey, but it seemed geared to me. It seemed to be geared towards how do you feel about Wizards at the moment and D&D at the moment. You know, it wasn't talking about detailed stuff about rules or campaign settings or things like that. It was just kind of a sort of broader, how do you feel about the game? How do you feel about the franchise? How do you feel about the company? That sort of thing.
Possibly marginally more charitably inclined than I have been previously.
Oh, okay. That's good news, I suppose.
Well, they've hired designers that I like.
Yeah.
And they have publicly said that they will not use AI in art or writing or design.
And these are both things that you approve of.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not actively evil, so they're getting exceeds expectations.
They're not actively being evil.
Yeah, they're not. They're, like, compared to a couple of years ago, where they were like, just saying, "Oh yeah, we'll just have a piece of everyone's pie, thanks very much." It's a pretty low baseline is what they're working from, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So and they haven't done anything particularly racist lately, so yeah, good for them.
Okay.
What? Like, there's a bunch of books that came out. We're like, oh my god, what are you doing, people?
Yeah,
and
my responses were pretty neutral all the way through, to be honest. I didn't
Yeah.
feel strongly or not strong, because all of them were the 1 to 5 scale thing. Do you feel strongly?
Yeah.
Do you? And I was like putting 3s pretty much. Or, how do I feel about the brand at the moment? 3. How do I feel about the
Your
company at the
genetics
moment?
inside,
3, I guess. No strong feelings one way or the other. Yeah.
Meh.
I don't know. If
Yeah.
anyone,
I don't think wizards are very relevant to your life, but then they exist, and occasionally they'll send giant tide waves your way. But apart from that, it's like you just ignore them. I'm like, well, they're going to do their thing. I'm playing my own separate game over here, which is affected by, but not really connected to what they're up to. I think it's just how it is in the RPG business. Like, you can rail against it all you like, but like they're just there, and until they do something to self-destruct, then not a lot we can do about it.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Okay. Well, talking of wizards, GaryCon just happened, or is happening. In fact, just happened. It's happening as we speak. So
not how you listen unless you're watching the live stream.
So this is the
which we'd like to say the live stream does go out on Facebook, Twitch, and something else at 2 p.m. UK time and 9 a.m. Eastern. Because we totally forgot to say that at the start.
Yeah. So GaryCon is the convention founded by Luke Gygax, Gary Gygax's son.
Yes.
Been going for about 18 years or something now. Been going for ages. And there was a Wizards of the Coast press briefing there this week.
Oh, okay.
So Dan Ayub, who is basically head of D&D at the moment, along with Luke Gygax, held a press briefing where they made some surprising announcements. Exciting announcements, I feel.
I'm surprised. More wary, to be fair, than excited, but let's go on. Yeah.
So just put a bit of context to this. There has been, I don't want to go so far as to say bad blood, because I don't really know the inside and outs of it. But like the Gygax family and Wizards of the Coast haven't always agreed on everything. I mean, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And one of the things,
we wouldn't expect them to agree on everything, to be fair.
Yeah, but one of the things that Dan Ayub said, and I quote, is, "We have to mend whatever rift happened between the family and the franchise."
Well, that's my eyebrows sent into the stratosphere. Okay. I don't believe they have to do anything of the sort, but if they wish to, that is...
All right, they want to. I mean, he was speaking off the cuff. It's not necessarily that it wasn't scripted, but...
no, of course. But, like, it's just like, it's quite a strong term. Strong term, but yeah, all right. If they have to mend the rift, then okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I don't know how deep that rift goes or how strong feelings are on either side or necessarily the details of it, because we all kind of exist on the periphery of all of this, and you're kind of vaguely aware of things going on, but you don't necessarily know all the details. You're not privy to the conversations and things like that. They did mention that they went out for dinner like the night before, or at GaryCon, and just really enjoyed just talking about D&D and their sort of shared values and experiences of D&D. But they made some exciting announcements, and the biggest of these exciting announcements I'm going to save till last.
Why?
I'm going to start with a couple of the smaller ones. I'm going to start with the smaller ones. So the first one was, in future, going forward, the plan is that major book announcements and the announcements of the new seasons, because they've got the new seasons coming now with their Season of Magic, which is the current one. Horror for its first. Sorry, Season of Horror.
Yeah, Horror Magic Champions, if I recall.
Yeah, so the Season of Horror, as we know, is the current one and is going to culminate with the Ravenloft book coming out in June, I believe. Season of Magic follows that and is going to culminate in the Arcana Unleashed book coming out in September.
Right.
And then there's a Season of Champions, which we don't know what it is. We've speculated on previous episodes.
Wildly. Baselessly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the best type of speculation. If you're not going to do it wildly and baselessly, why are you even bothering to speculate? That's what I
like.
say.
I like to think it's entertaining. Perhaps I'm wrong.
We are skilled speculators.
Tell you differently.
So anyway, these announcements going forward are going to be made at Gen Con, which this year is right at the end of July, beginning of August. So my guess is we're going to find out in detail what's happening in the Season of Champions at the end of July, beginning of August at Gen Con. Which is, what is it now? It is what, mid-March, April, May, June,
or
July,
late March.
4 or 5 months.
2/3 way through. Yeah,
4 or 5 months away. We'll find out more about that, I'm guessing. But that's going to be their plan going forward, which is interesting because they haven't been making announcements at conventions, or particularly having a presence at major conventions for quite some time.
No, like I mean, I got to say, I did interpret that as quite an arrogant attitude. Like, we're Wizards of the Coast, you'll listen to what we say, we don't have to show up and talk to our fan bases, because they'll just come online and find it. But actually going to conventions to show willingness to engage.
Going back to that survey that I just took, I kind of feel like they're kind of acknowledging that. And I guess a lot of this might be sort of due to Dan Ayub, maybe a fresh perspective coming in, because he did talk about the announcement delays recently. Do you know we were waiting for ages to find out what's going on with D&D? You know, we didn't know what they were doing in 2026, and it had gotten to like late February. We think we still don't know what's coming out in 2026. This is unusual, to say the least.
Like I think it's like previously they had quite a well-oiled, if annoying, marketing machine of releasing a teaser, then a preview, then a trailer, then finally making an announcement. And then subsequent follow-ups. So possibly to switch to doing more books, because multiple releases per year, like 3-4 years ago, that'd be kind of weird for them. But now it's like just the standard pattern.
They've been doing 4 to 5 books a year for a while now. At the beginning of the 5e, it was kind of like 2 books a year or something, or 2 or 3 books a year, and it felt very slow. But in later years, it did ramp up quite significantly.
They have, in the build-up to the 5.5e, to use its correct name, they have been releasing more books. And looks
5.5e, just to be clear, is not a new edition, but we don't know what the E stands for, but it's certainly not edition. Can't be edition because it's not a new edition. 5.5.
Like, if it was a new edition, they just say it was a new edition, right?
Sure. Anyway, on these announcement delays, are you sort of circling back a bit? You did mention that partly this was a transition issue because of a lot of staff changes. So they had the outgoing Crawford and Perkins, and an incoming influx of new staff members. Plus, of course, Ayub's job changed and he became head of D&D. So part of it was that transition.
Wasn't he head of branding at one point, or was that someone else I'm thinking
I can't remember what he was doing before then.
Okay.
But yeah, so partly it was a transition. The other one was, he said roadmap adjustments. So roadmap obviously is what is their word for a schedule.
It's like
the product schedule we saw.
Like when they're releasing all their various bits and bobs. And when?
So it sounds like they were making adjustments to that roadmap recently. I guess. You know, maybe it wasn't finalized until sort of early this year, perhaps. I don't know.
Could be. It sounds like they've been undergoing a lot of internal rearrangements because fairly major senior figures have left. Of course, they keep on firing people, and that's a lot of institutional memory that goes. So, but hopefully, they've been able to keep themselves afloat.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know how many people are there that we don't know the names of who have been there for ages. There's probably, you know, when you talk about institutional memory, I'm sure there are plenty of those people. It's like Perkins and Crawford leaving, and Merle's like the year before. Obviously, were high-profile departures.
Yeah. But like, if you're, I guess it depends on where the pruning is coming from, and often, sometimes managers have the higher salaries they go, but sometimes it's like people who are less exalted in rank. but more often.
Yeah. I mean, it's all different reasons.
Well, that baseless speculation.
Completely baseless speculation. The best kind. The best kind.
All
right. The other thing that's interesting is that modules, they said, are coming back. Now, modules basically being individual adventures, smaller adventures, rather than the big hardcover campaigns. Traditionally, which there were loads released in the 80s. Loads and loads of them. But they didn't specify really in what context, whether that was via like Adventurers League type stuff, whether that was during encounters or what really. They didn't go into detail with it.
Yeah, like okay, I'm intrigued, but also a bit surprised because that's quite difficult to do in terms of physical books, really. Because
it's generally the sort of thing that they farmed off to that's kind of one of the reasons the OGL was originally created back in 2000. So that these things that are very hard to make a profit on at scales that Wizards needs to do it. Smaller companies can make a profit doing that.
Exactly. It's like that the content must flow is the long and short of it. But I wouldn't have thought that. So I guess if they have zero distribution costs because they're doing it as electronic form only with their online platforms.
It might be electronic only. I don't know. They didn't
that
say.
Would be what I would suspect, with maybe a hardcover release as a sort of a compilation of them.
Yeah, to be honest, I hadn't thought about that. It's just being electronic only. You might be right. That might be all it is. But again,
it seems like crazy to me to just really commercially infeasible to say, we'll just like produce like a little flimsy comic book sized thing for Wizards, because that's a lot of printing.
Tell you what, if you do want such a thing, Ian Publishing right now does have a Kickstarter going on, which ends in a couple of weeks, which is a collection of 5 adventure standalone separate adventure modules, which is the start of a series, a whole line we're launching. These are the first 5, and you can go along and you can pick up the first 5 right now from Kickstarter.
Interesting.
They're for D&D. They're for D&D 5e.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
a little shameless plug there in the middle there.
Well, indeed, very rightly so. Although I noticed in the chat, Gilfast says that Paizo went from monthly magazine-style adventure releases to quarterly hardbacks, and to me, that says at the higher end of producing things or the bigger companies, then they are starting to feel the pinch, especially with printing costs and so forth.
Yeah. It's hard to say. Oh, I mean, it might just be on D&D Beyond. It might just be literally that. Not even PDFs. Just on D&D Beyond. I don't know.
I wouldn't expect PDFs. They've got a firm policy against that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it might just be like Adventurers League.
Well, Adventurers League is PDFs, and it's all available through the DMs Guild. If they produce like a bunch of new content through DMs Guild as PDFs, then I hope they match the standards that were laid forth in Adventurers League, because I personally think those were very good standards. It's easy to run. It's what I want in an adventure.
Yeah,
and good stories as well, obviously. Yeah.
Right, are you ready for the big bit of news?
Oof. Yeah, sorry. I just had thoughts about shipping. Oh,
this is exciting stuff. So, Luke and Dan announced Melf's Guide to Greyhawk, which is going to be coming out at a date as yet undetermined. We don't know when this is coming out. They didn't. This wasn't a really, really long press conference. It was like 40 minutes, but they covered a lot of little things. So they didn't go into detail with this. But basically, Luke Gygax will be spearheading this, and was apparently already kind of thinking about doing this himself and just kind of putting it out there. I guess maybe via DM's Guild or so, I don't know. But was talking to Dan, and Dan apparently said to him, well, is there any chance you would work with us and do this on an official level? And his response was, yes, there's a very good chance that I would do that. And so now they're going to do that. So this is official. This isn't like Ed Greenwood does the Forgotten Realms stuff on GM's Guild, which is kind of, it's not official as in it comes from Wizards of the Coast, although it is official in that it comes from the creator of the Forgotten Realms, but you can use that word however you like. But this is coming from Wizards of the Coast, and it looks like it's going to be a setting book, setting guide for Greyhawk, the kind of like one of the earliest D&D campaign setting, if you don't count Blackmore, which I think a lot of people, because there is a big,
enough people like Greyhawk that I have heard of Greyhawk, and I have never seen a physical Greyhawk book.
No,
right? I've only ever seen people raving about Greyhawk online. I've never seen any of the products, never seen any of the books. So yes, I think there was a keen fan base out there. That's my metric.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, Melf, as you may or may not know, was Luke Gygax's character. So this is Melf of Melf's Acid Arrow fame.
It is one of my favourite spells for flavour.
A lot of the named wizards and things that are in the spell names and things like that were player characters back in early Gygax games in like the 1970s. And Melf was Luke Gygax's character. There's a rumor which Luke has denied in the past that the character was a male elf. And when tasked with coming up with a name for this male elf, he came up with a Melf. However, he does deny this. He does deny this is not the case.
Wow. Like, that's actually similar to the first D&D campaign I ran, where someone who'd never played before was like, I've got an elf character, so I'll call them Elf. So possibly even less imaginative.
Yeah.
It's an interesting cover. You've got
so I will note this graphic is one I made, not an officially put out graphic.
Oh, okay. So you put this.
I grabbed a picture of Melf and whapped some text on it, basically.
Okay, right, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to give out the impression that this is in some way an official sort of advertising piece. It is something I made.
I'm glad we had this conversation because I thought this was like the official cover.
No.
But it's not. Okay.
No, you can tell all the fonts are wrong. All the fonts are wrong.
It did look a bit. I can't tell the new trade dress of 5.5, which is the same edition. But it's like, you've got Melf flying backwards, shooting. I presume it's Melf. They're shooting an acid. That is
Melf. That is a piece of art featuring Melf. So that's an acid arrow in his left hand there. Shooting.
Well, that was what was making me think, because like you got a signature spell, and it's got a big muscled
troll,
green. I guess a troll with dreadlocks. Catching it to the face. Best your rage.
I mean, if you're going to hit a troll with something, acid is your choice. That's what you want to go with, acid or fire.
I guess he's a bit close for fireball.
I guess, yes.
I just have that
self-immolation, and also fireball. It's not Melf's fireball, is it?
No, it's true.
No, and he's aware that this is a photo shoot, obviously, because someone's there filming this. So he's making sure he, for branding purposes, is using his signature spell.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Makes sense to me.
Absolutely. Anyway, so this isn't the cover, so let's move on.
Yeah, no, but we don't know when this is coming out. I got two guesses, but maybe it's the Season of Champions thing. Maybe. I feel like it's going to be 2027.
Could be. I mean, he's quite a magical character. So is Greyhawk particularly magical?
I kind of feel like Greyhawk is like Greyhawk and the Forgotten Realms. I think one of the reasons Greyhawk never came back in a big way is because they're not massively different in concept. They're both kind of kitchen sink general fantasy settings. I feel like Forgotten Realms is a little more high magic and magic's a little more ubiquitous, but conceptually, the details are different and the locations and the characters are different characters in different locations.
Different world, but like same tropes, maybe.
Yeah, and Galarian as well, another one like that sort of thing, which is Paizo's Pathfinder one.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I was like, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it's in the Pathfinder, it's in the Paizo draw. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, some people sort of say that Greyhawk is heralding, therefore, a return to a more gritty style of play, and I don't think that's necessarily the case, because I don't think that's intrinsic to the setting. I think that was more intrinsic to the rule sets that existed when Greyhawk was. So 5e, modern 5e Greyhawk will still be modern 5e feeling. I don't think the setting itself lends itself to a gritty style of play. That's the game systems.
Man, indulge in some baseless speculation.
Sure. Only if it's the highest quality baseless speculation, and it is extremely baseless though.
Oh, well, it is fairly baseless.
Fairly baseless, okay. I'll allow it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we noticed that the artwork for the Forgotten Realm stuff has tended towards the cuter and the younger sort of people. Like, so what would make sense from a sort of a branding purposes in order to like differentiate market? Because the original mistake that TSR made back in the day, or whoever they were at that time, was to say we'll have like 18 billion settings, and people were like, okay, and they're like, no, we're making no money on any of them. But if they sell D&D according to age brackets, with you can play in the Forgotten Realms, and then as you get older, you can play in Greyhawk, and then do whatever you like when you stop giving us money. Possibly that could be a marketing pipeline. I don't know. That's just something that occurs. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll find out. I'm sure they'll talk more about it later. Maybe at GenCon. Maybe they'll talk about it at GenCon. Maybe. I'm mildly excited.
Well, we won't
just because I didn't think we would see that. That is not a. That surprised me. Let's just say it surprised me. It caught me by surprise. It came out yesterday. The press release kind of happened, and the information came out yesterday, completely out of the blue. Had no. I mean, for all I know, they might have literally just decided it that day, or when they were at dinner the night before. You know, it might not have existed before then.
Yeah. Like, I mean, sometimes that's just how these things come together. You get people in person having chats, and then there's just like this sort of it all spirals, and next thing you know, you've got a book to deliver. Terrible.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's what's happening coming from D&D.
Yes.
And that's some pretty exciting news, I think. Yes. There's also going to be tomorrow, Saturday, another kind of press conference type panel type thing, which is about the past and future of D&D. And I believe that Luke Gygax and Dan Ayub are on that one as well, but I don't know for sure. That's tomorrow, Saturday at GaryCon, so we'll talk about it next week.
Looking forward to
on
it.
Account of time travel not being a thing.
No.
Right. Yeah. In the chat there, no one of consequence 1776 says, because 1776 of their line says that Greyhawk may not be gritty, but it's not going to lend itself well to cozy gameplay either, which I think is kind of what you said.
Yeah. It's like sort of like maybe it'd be the perfect team setting and so forth. You can say. I guess, like thinking further upon it, then that would leave space for a Dark Sun for the older players who are able to engage with more mature themes.
But if they do Dark Sun and they do Greyhawk, that is definitely a shift in tone from recent years.
If they do very much so.
Yeah.
But again, that sort of the age categorization, like the age banding, would make it more sensible rather than just having it all under a generic D&D.
And then you couple that with that survey, which was literally asking me, after asking my age, how I felt about the franchise. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of feels like something's, and we've got the whole changing of the guard going on and all that sort of stuff. I feel like something's kind of changing.
Maybe we will have to see. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Time, as they say, will tell.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on from D&D and let's look at the Origins Award nominees.
Oh, I do have a little bit of D&D adjacent news if you would be interested.
Okay.
Yes. Solasta, Solasta 2 has come out in early access. So for those people who really liked it, yeah, it's out. It's quite good. The character generator is extremely detailed, but I played a bit of it and it crashed. So if you've got the original Solasta on Steam, yeah. Like I quite enjoyed the bits I had played. It's doing what I expected and hoped from Solasta, but I haven't even leveled up. Yeah, so it's not super high level. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, let's maybe talk about it a bit more next week when you've actually had a chance to play it a bit.
Yeah. I've downloaded the patches next week. It's been super busy. Origins. Yes.
Origins. The Origins Award. So they're an award program which cover all manner of tabletop gaming, not just role-playing games. Board games, war games, tactical card games, the whole lot. It's run by the Game Manufacturers Association, GAMA. And the Origins Awards are presented at the annual Origins Game Fair, which I believe is mid to late June. I think, June 17 to 21 this year. So that's when the actual results are going to be announced. But what we've got here is the nominees. There's a whole load of categories. There's only 2 for tabletop RPGs at the Origins. Like the Ennies, they're like 20 categories all about tabletop RPGs. But the Origins are a broader award, board games, card games. So there's 2 for tabletop RPGs. And those are Role-Playing Game of the Year and Role-Playing Supplement of the Year. So we've got those 2 lists because we're a TTRPG show. We won't go into the board games and the card games. But we've got those 2. So let's have a look at those 2 nominee lists. So this is the Role-Playing Game of the Year. These are the nominees. So on there, I noticed Daggerheart. No real surprise there. We've got Cosmere. No massive surprise there because that was big this year. Starfinder 2nd edition.
Armies of people. Yeah.
The new Warhammer, the Old World game from Cubicle 7. That's on there.
Yeah.
And then they've got some slightly lesser known stuff on there.
The Bonsai Diary.
Yeah. It's kind of a mix of indie and massive with nothing in between, really, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I'm not as familiar. I mean, there's a fair bit of. It's quite interesting, actually. You got Chaosium, the Cthulhu people have bought Age of Vikings, but Cthulhu Bay has been bought by MS Edizoni and Ares Games.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a turnabout.
I mean, Cthulhu Bay, it's not Call of Cthulhu, is it? It uses the Cthulhu mythos, but anyone can use the Cthulhu mythos. So it's not
it's all public
Call of Cthulhu, which is Chaosium's own.
But like it's interesting to see that people that are not Chaosium are successful enough to achieve recognition. And there's an interesting mix of sci-fi in there as well. We've got both Starfinder 2nd edition and Coriolis the Great Dark as well.
Yeah. I think it's I mean, looking at this, I'm going to make a guess, and I don't know for sure, but I reckon Daggerheart will win because I feel that is currently got the biggest buzz at the moment and has done for a few months now. I don't know how long it will last or whether it will go on indefinitely, but certainly in the moment, Daggerheart's got quite a lot of buzz, and I've got a feeling that's what's going to win the Role-Playing Game of the Year. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So we can then look at the Supplement of the Year. So again, a bit of a mix there. Chaosium has a good showing there with 3 different supplements.
Yeah.
2 for Cthulhu and 1 for Pendragon.
Nice.
That's pretty good going. We've got the Field Guide to Floral Dragons, which is Hit Point Press, and they're a Kickstarter repeated $1 million publisher.
I think I saw some of their ads actually on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cubicle 7, our friends over in Ireland, have hit it big twice. They've got a second entry for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, this time with the High Elf Player's Guide. So, great job there, lads.
Yeah. So again, a bit of a mix there, and Free League there with the Alien RPG Rapture Protocol.
exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I must say, I do love that Call of Cthulhu module name, the Sutra of Pale Leaves, Twin Suns Rising.
It's long. It's a bit of a mouthful. Call of Cthulhu, the Sutra of Pale Leaves, Twin Suns Rising.
Okay, Call of Cthulhu, colon, the Sutra of Pale Leaves, hyphen, Twin Suns Rising.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can tell they're serious about telling us what it's about by throwing that extra punctuation in there. I still don't know what it is, but I'd be like, I'd pick that up just based on the name.
Yeah. Why versus the world asks in the chat, not heard of the Vault of Many Things before. So
many
this
things, yes.
Many things, sorry, not many things.
Yeah.
So this is it's from Tinker House, and it is a box, a big red box. I don't have a picture of it here, sadly, but it's a big red box. And it's got sort of 800 standees. It's got custom bases. It's got dungeon and village wall tiles. It's got trees and rock formations. It's got map tiles, like 60 odd map tiles, 200 or more props and tokens. They're like treasure chests and dungeon dressing. So it's a big old box of stuff for trucking onto your table for your for physical battle maps.
It's like they're all like sort of standees using plastic bases, and I think that sort of plasticized cardboard or hard plastic to make them stand up.
Gildas says, is that a hyphen or an M dash? M dashes currently, I am battling for the existence of M dashes at the moment, because every time you put an M dash in your writing, people claim it's written by ChatGPT. But I've used M dashes all my life. I love M dashes. I think they're a brilliant piece of punctuation, and I continue to use them. And I refuse to be forced into not using M dashes because everyone thinks they're ChatGPT.
Well, like I don't know. It's like people have said, "Oh, that's definitely ChatGPT." I'm like, pretty sure it's not, because it's not blathering. It's making concise points. No, I mean, anyway. So, and also, this is where the plagiarism bot learned its trade. Quote, learned, unquote. It copied all the people that write well. Sorry. But the Vault of Many Things does look pretty cool, actually.
It does look very cool.
What I particularly like is that it comes with its own box, and it's got like section markers, so you can like file everything away afterwards. And for me, that'd be a game in itself.
I wish we had some pictures to share, but I don't have any to hand, and I'm not deft enough for this technology to do it live on air. If I haven't prepared it beforehand, I'm sure it can be done. I'm sure it can be done, but I'd make a mess of it.
You would. Like, don't.
I would make a mess of it.
Yeah. Like, if Jess was here, then maybe she'd be able to do something. She is pretty awesome. And handy with this technology.
But it also helps when there's three of us. Two people could be talking while someone else is doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's quite hard to multitask and do that while managing the comments, while doing the banners at the bottom, while making images to throw up live, while changing the view cameras and things. It's all quite difficult.
And as I do not work for your company, it is very wise that you do not give me access to this. But instead, I like to do my little part by talking and filling the airtime with interesting and erudite speculation or meaningless blather. It's up to you to decide which it is.
Now, would you like to be surprised again?
Ooh, yes, please.
Because ICv2 do their ranking figure thing on a quarterly basis.
Sales figures.
Well, they're not technically sales figures. They're surveys of retailers, distributors, and things like that. And they basically ask the retailers, what are your best selling things? And they ask the distributors, what are your best selling things? And they compile all this data. But they're not based on actual sales figures, they're based on surveys. But with that caveat aside, at GAMA, which took place recently, they did a presentation, because GAMA is sort of very much an industry show. So they did a presentation to the retailers and distributors present about their latest survey results to find out what the top selling or the most popular, or I'm not even sure what you would call it. Let's call it top selling, even though we acknowledge that we don't actually have sales figures, but I can't think of a better word.
Nominated has product most likely to fly off the shelf.
Yeah. I mean, this is geared towards retailers, kind of telling retailers what's popular right now is what it's.
What's hot, what's not.
Yeah. Some people will go, why? Yeah. I mean, some people might sort of go, why is this important? Why, who cares? Retailers care. They want to know what's selling at the moment, so they know what to stock and what to order. So anyway,
it's a huge problem. Yeah.
And GAMA is a trade show. It's not a convention in the in the traditional sense that we tend to go to. So anyway, these are the top role-playing games of all of 2025. Full 2025. Sorry, not all 2025. Full 2025.
Oh.
And there's some surprises there.
Oh.
There's some surprises. The first, we've got Dungeons and Dragons at the top. No surprise there. That's not a surprise. That we always expect.
Yeah.
But then we normally expect to see Pathfinder in second position.
Yeah.
Traditionally,
not languishing in 6.
Not languishing in 6th place.
Yeah.
Even Starfinder's beating Pathfinder. They're at 3rd place, which really surprised me.
It is quite a good game. You should get it.
I know, but I would not have bet it being more popular than Pathfinder ever.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I couldn't say enough. I haven't played enough Starfinder, enough Pathfinder. Seconded. I did enjoy my Starfinder a lot more than I enjoyed the Pathfinder. So make of that what you will.
Well, the other thing
I have a little bit of bonus Starfinder news if you're interested as well. So
yeah, we'll just jump on that in a sec. But let's we've got Cosmere up there at number 2 from Brotherwise. So that ICv2 since 2015 has taken into account Kickstarters and crowdfunders. So that Cosmere presumably is mainly from that massive $14 million Kickstarter that they had last year. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember when it was. But anyway,
year before, I feel.
But that's what they're taking into account here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Good old Brando Sando's books.
Yeah, and you might say the same about Crooked Moon, because that from Avantris, that was a big crowdfunder as well.
Right.
And so I'm assuming
this is selling at retail as well. Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, it must be selling in retail. Well, Kickstarter, no, they count Kickstarter as well. So,
okay.
Kind of counts as retail, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you're selling two things for I don't know.
Yeah, okay, well, if they're counting the figures from Kickstarter as well, which does make a certain amount of sense because those are publicly available and you can see what sort of things are selling. So it would make sense for them to include that in their sort of straw poll because it's easy enough to gather the data.
Yeah.
But also, I wouldn't, in my head, I don't have that. I don't really class that as retail. Does that make sense? For me, retail is buying it from a friendly local game store, or if you must, from an online place like Saturn or whatever.
I mean, traditionally, it was hobby channels. So it used to be just local game stores. So it didn't take into account Amazon or the big box Walmarts and things like that, or direct sales. Which is interesting because direct sales are a big thing. I mean, just talking for ourselves at EM Publishing, direct sales, i.e. the things we sell off our own website, EM Publishing website, is the single largest platform where we make sales. More so than Drive-Thru-RPG, more so than anywhere, really. Yeah. So, and this kind of information doesn't take that into account at all. I mean, if they don't take into account Amazon, and I don't know if they do, but Dungeons and Dragons sells by the bucket loads on Amazon.
Yeah.
Massive amounts on Amazon.
There's a healthy secondhand market as well.
Yes,
I recently released a bunch of ones which were just taking up space in my house. I was like, I'm not going to buy these. I gave them to my wife to sell on a place called Vinted, which is it's like the new eBay.
I know of it.
Yeah. It's poof, vanished. And that went towards funding the Beer and Sweeties Fund. So that was very good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But should we just quickly run through, just for those listening rather than watching, because they can't see the list. So those on the podcast listening. So the list goes Dungeons and Dragons, at number 1,
from Wizards Coast,
followed by Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere at number 2. Number 3 is Starfinder from Paizo. They say Paizo Press there. It's called Paizo Publishing, not Press, but hey. Crooked Moon from Avantris.
Yeah. Which appears to be a sort of a steampunk-esque sort of style.
Yeah, it's a setting, isn't it, for D&D 5e? At number 5, we've got Daggerheart from Darrington Press. Number 6, we've got Pathfinder from Paizo. Number 7, we've got Vampire the Masquerade from Renegade. Again, that's Renegade Publishing, not Press. We have got the Alien RPG from Free League. They released a new edition of that last year.
It's so impressive, though, to see it out there.
We've got Cyberpunk Red from R. Talsorian.
Still doing well off the tails of the game,
And then we've got Mork Borg.
At
number 10, which I've seen. I've not seen it in stores myself, but I don't go into an awful lot of game stores. No. But Mork Borg, you see a really, really solid third-party market for.
Oh, my goodness,
constantly see things being made, and I always think that's a really good sign of a healthy brand. Is if there's a lot of third-party products being made for it.
People love Mork Borg. I gotta say that.
People do love Mork Borg.
Yeah. Not me, sadly. I don't enjoy it very much, but a lot of people do.
I've never played it. The only thing I really know about it is it's very striking graphically, from what I've seen of it, the layout styles.
Yeah, not all of the third-party developers are as committed to unreadability as the original designers. Like I say, I enjoy nice, clear graphics because sometimes I find it hard to read things. I have a lot of stuff to read, so if it's this feels like you're making it more difficult for me, I simply won't read it because I have other things to do. But yeah, I played it. I was like, oh, okay, yes, this is an OSR game. And I can see that if you live the OSR, then you're going to have a great time.
But not to your tastes.
Maybe it's just the way people are running it. But I'm just like, I think people just feel differently about the biases inherent to the game.
Right. Okay. Right then.
But they certainly, as you say, have an amazing third-party market. And there's a lot of people that I really respect who are banging them out. And fair play to them.
Right. This next one, I believe, comes from you. You put this one up.
Oh yes, the International Journal of Roleplaying. That's. I think we have mentioned it on the podcast on previous occasions.
Yeah.
But this is based over, I want to say, in Finland, and occasionally they bang out a academic journal which is crammed full of essays, studies, theory, all about role playing. And if you're a big nerd, and I have to say, if you're listening or watching this podcast,
if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are. Yeah.
I'm sorry if this has.
If you're not, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
You're welcome to say, but big nerdism is very likely to occur, right? So but if you're at peace with this and you're okay, you're hit me with some more role playing. This looks pretty exciting. They had some interesting stuff about Dungeons and Dragons in there, and a whole other pile of stuff which I fully intend to read at some point.
Right.
But it's just I reckon I'd give it a shout out because it's on issue 17. So if this is your first time hearing about the International Journal of Roleplay, you're very welcome. You should check it out. You will probably find something that's interesting.
Well, that is a link in the show notes. There's a link in the show notes, so you can. Yes. Yeah. Okay, next we have another one, which I believe you posted.
Oh, yes, the Bastion indie market. This is, I'm afraid, sadly only applicable to our UK listeners or people who are able to get to the UK. But yeah, it's going on 30th of May at the UK Games Expo at the NEC in Birmingham. Yeah. I believe that's it's a market for complete games. So if you have a complete game, they can sell it at the Bastion indie market. So none of your zines, but there's a indie night market or something that goes on in America or something. I'm a bit vague because like completely not my scene, but they don't accept TTRPGs, whereas Bastion indie market very much does accept indie TTRPGs, but they would like it to be a complete game. So if it's like, but not supplements, right? So if you've got so that's why I keep saying the words like complete game.
A stand at the UK Games Expo, is that?
I think so. It's like you have the same information that I do. I did, except I asked more clarifying questions about what it is that they were trying to ask about, and they said it was a complete game. So there you go. So I imagine there'll be quite a bring and buy atmosphere. Yeah. But people do enjoy indie TTRPGs, and that is a good place to be.
Yeah. I popped into, talking of conventions, I popped into Aircon last week.
Really?
So
that's a bit of a trek to pop into someplace.
Well, I just happened to be in the area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So
Harrogate from Southampton. Yeah,
York.
yeah, that's
York.
You in York. Okay. Yeah.
And Yorkshire. Yorkshire, yes. Yeah.
It is quite large.
I had a lovely time. I had a lovely time in York. So York is I've never been to York before. It is gorgeous. At least the town centre is gorgeous. As you go away from the town centre, it just looks more like a typical British town. But certainly the town centre is gorgeous. And went to the Shambles.
In the sunshine, it's really beautiful. Yes, yes.
So the Shambles,
probably.
Which I typed in, this is a few weeks ago before I went up. I typed in because I wanted to know a bit more about the Shambles, because I was planning on going to the Shambles, which is basically a street in York. And Google's, you know, when you put something into Google, you have to have that Google AI thing first, overview first, before you get to the search results. It told me that the Shambles was inspired by Harry Potter. Which I thought was an interesting take.
It's certainly something that could be written down. That is true.
Yes, yeah. However, I will forgive it slightly, having now been to the Shambles, because while obviously the Shambles itself isn't inspired by Harry Potter, because Diagon Alley and Harry Potter was inspired by the Shambles.
Yes, this is how time works. Yes.
But I will say that the shops that currently inhabit this Shambles are definitely all inspired by Harry Potter. Not only do you have the official Harry Potter store, you have a drink store which brands itself as potions and things, and you have all of the stores are basically branded as off-brand Harry Potter. Every single one down that street. And I don't know how long it's been like that, because obviously I've never been there before. But I assume before Harry Potter, it wasn't quite so on the nose, I would imagine.
No, it was not.
No, right. I imagine before Harry Potter, it would have been just a mix of small stores.
It was basically a lot of tourist hat. In like, basically, if you imagine like tourist hat, but crammed into like really pokey houses in a very small street, then you've got a good idea of what the Shambles looks like. But on the plus side, I'm taking this to mean that they probably got rid of the shop that sold gollywogs. So that's
not that I noticed. I didn't see one. No.
No.
I didn't go into every shop. To be fair, I didn't go into every shop, but
they had them in the shop windows. Yes.
Oh, I did not see any such thing. One thing I did see was a pie shop, a delicious looking pie shop. I had just had lunch, unfortunately, so I didn't go in and buy a pie. But I stood outside the window and gazed wistfully, like an urchin, like Oliver.
Face press against the
window. These delicious looking pies.
Schoolboy error.
Yeah. They did look very nice.
Good pies, good fish and chips. A lot of good beers. Yeah, York's quite a little gastro town.
Yeah. So I had a nice time. I noticed basically there were two accents that I noticed in Yorkshire. One is like the one that you see on TV that you can understand, and then I noticed if you go into some of the more local pubs and they're talking to each other rather than to you, the accent is very, very hard to decipher sometimes. Very hard.
Okay.
We went into one pub which was supposed to be the most flooded pub in Britain.
Oh,
it's on the side of the river, and they put not chalk marks because they're more permanent than that. The year and every time how high it had been flooded, and at some points it was like 8-10 feet, like right up high, and other times it was lower. And the year that happened, but in that pub, and it was a pub that had a sign saying no mobile phones or electronic devices allowed. If you want to come in, you've got to sit down and have a conversation. You can't sit there on your phone. You can't, all this sort of stuff. And it's just the rule of the pub, which is fine, whatever. But the people in there were clearly kind of locals. They weren't tourists, which is a lot of York Town Centre was very, very touristy.
Yeah.
But the people in that pub were very much locals, and they were talking to each other, and it was hard to understand what they were saying.
Whilst you were busy eavesdropping on other people's conversations.
I couldn't help it. It was a tiny little place. It's tiny.
Absolutely.
It wasn't that much bigger than my office here.
I mean, if you'd hung around till the evening, you'd probably have seen some of the stag do's and hen do's, because York is a major metropolis by the standards of the local place. And if you're not going to Leeds or Bradford, then you go there, and it gets pretty full.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Had a great time. Yeah, I also bought myself a flat cap. I wear flat caps now. I'm not wearing the one right now. I did think about wearing it for the show, but I decided against it.
Disappointing. Where's your whippet and or your ferret?
I've got enough dogs, thank you very much. I don't need a whippet. I think I'm okay on the dog front.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, back to the news anyway.
Yes.
RuneQuest.
Oh, okay.
On Chaosium. They are working on a revised RuneQuest core rulebook. Now, this isn't to replace the current one. It's more as a sort of entry point, a streamlined version for new players. And Michael O'Brien announced it on EN World in a post, and he says it's basically about 60% of the size of the existing RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha court rulebook.
Okay.
The combat rules have been cleaned up. Character generation is much quicker. Overall, the rules are far clearer, more concise, and better presented. It also includes a bestiary.
Okay.
But this is totally separate to the actual main RuneQuest core rulebook, which is continuing as a supported game line. So this is pitched for newcomers to come in, pick up and play the game. You won't need to have anything beforehand. You won't need the starter set. It's compatible with the existing stuff,
right?
But it is a more streamlined, more accessible version of RuneQuest.
Interesting. Sort of a bit like Exalted Third produced a Exalted Light rule set, but that was basically just like really, really dumbed down is the only word for it, which I felt sort of was not ideal for me. So you could take a character in this, is the theory, I guess, and then play it in a regular campaign.
I guess so, yeah. I guess
or you could expand it to that.
Yeah, I mean, it says character creation is more streamlined, but I assume you end up still with a valid RuneQuest character. Yeah, it's not a different system. It's just a more streamlined process. Maybe it just does some of the heavy lifting for you, and there's some sort of default options you choose rather than more granular stuff. I don't know.
I've never had the chance to play RuneQuest. No, I think I might have seen it at a couple of conventions, but
I've never played it either. No,
it's not been something that's like been some. I mean, I've seen it. I'm like, oh, I wonder what that's about. Oh, it's full. Never mind. Move on.
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
Yeah. It's like more of the more major games in the UK.
Yeah,
Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay RuneQuest.
Yeah, it's like the early 80s, I think. I'm not sure. Early 80s. It's published by Chaosium, but it's been around a long time. Right then, moving on with the news. moving on with the news. What do we have here? We have Play Unsafe, which I believe is one that you found.
Yes. 20th anniversary edition of Graham Walmsley's exciting manual about how to play games. We're really going hard on theory of role-playing games this week. So sorry about that. Hashtag not sorry. It's a book which I quite enjoyed, which has been pretty influential on me, given me lots of ideas. And if you're the sort of person who occasionally dips into role-playing games online, or who follows threads and is like, I don't really know what all these people are talking about, then this could be a good way to get yourself a bit of a primer into some of the talk about the theory but it's mostly focused on practical techniques in order to help you make your games more exciting by playing. So it's like system neutral GMing tips.
So sort of similar to, say, Robin Law's rules of Game Master. I can't remember the exact title, but Robin Laws has a famous book out about.
Yeah. It's like that, but with a more indie focus.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds cool.
As I recall, it's been a while since I read the original book, so I'm not even sure. I think in the various house moves, because it's a 20-year anniversary edition. So sometime in the intervening years, I think I may have mislaid it. So I'm actually going to get back in this. And
I think Monty Cook has one as well. I can't remember the exact title, but it's something like "Make Your Game the Best Ever" or "World's Best Game Ever" or something. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but definitely like Robin Laws and Monty Cook have both done one. But that's not 20 years ago.
Yeah, and the chap that did Seven Seas, trying to remember his name. Yeah. He's got a guide out as well, which I also quite enjoyed. Yeah. I think that came with one of the Kickstarters. I found that was quite good. So this is a similar one, but so maybe it's got a British take on it, for all I know. It's certainly I have found that I have enjoyed reading most of these books. I think I have read most of these books that we're talking about. Apparently, Monty Cook's is your best game ever.
Yes. Thank you, Gilthas, in the chat. Monty Cook's your best game ever. I think I actually have it.
I have actually read that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a few years ago, that one.
Yeah. So there you go. If it could be have a go. It's probably worth backing because I always find I always learn something when I read these. But then I'm a big nerd, as has been foreshadowed in this very podcast. Okay,
moving on. What is the magic of inventorying?
Oh yeah, Paris Kondo's life-saving magic of inventorying. That's it's basically a game about inventory management. But with a sort of a tongue-in-cheek aesthetic, as you might be able to tell from the rather cartoony cover. It's coming out on Kickstarter, I believe, 7th April. And it's sort of like got a board game aesthetic. So I keep meaning to pick this up because it just sounds really, really quirky and charming, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Okie dokie. Right. So we're going to finish up with a quick Kickstarter piece.
Okay.
Because up until now, we haven't had any $1 million Kickstarters or crowdfunders.
Okay.
And suddenly, we have 4 of them. All at once.
That's that foreshadowing kicking in.
I kind of feel like this time of year as well, sort of March, that happened last year as well. There's something about March. I wonder if it's like tax return time for Americans or something like that. I don't know, but definitely I feel this happened before as well in like March, April sort of time. But we did talk about one a couple of weeks ago, which was pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
That one broke $1 million a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we talked about that one. Then we have another, which is the Nimble Monsters and More Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah. It's like it's supposed to be a modified version of 5e, but you automatically hit and stuff.
Yeah. So there was a previous Kickstarter for the Nimble game that only made like 17,000 or something a couple of years ago. But this one, the sequel, which is basically the Monsters book, which obviously you can pick up the core rule books with as well, I assume. This one has shot past 1 million.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Then that's not the only one. We also that was Pumpkin Spice. We also have really Dragonbane Trudvang.
Yeah.
Has shot past 1 million. That one just kind of squeaked in past 1 million, but Free League isn't a stranger to having $1 million Kickstarters.
Yeah. Like trolls, forests, little goblin creatures. What's not to like?
Yep. And then finally we have, and this one's done very, very well. It shot past 1 million on the first day. So goodness knows how far it's going to go. It's still got most of a month left to go. In fact, let me look at the actual dates. So this still has 27 days to go, and it's at 1.6 million.
Yes. Would you like me to read the title?
Sure. It's not a short title.
No, which is why I thought I'd give it a crack. I know it's your favourite type of title, but Heliana x Ryoko's Guide to Mythozoology, Track, Hunt, Craft, and more.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's done incredibly well as well.
It's 5e compatible for 2014 and 2024, as it claims. It's a lovely little Ron Seal Kickstarter because it's got what it is about: tracking, hunting, and crafting things from monsters. It's a monster book. They do incredibly well because they're the sort of thing that Games Masters buy lots of, because you can never have too many monster books.
Yeah, it's interesting that 2 of these $4 million Kickstarters are by YouTubers.
Well,
and I did a little dive into, because I track $1 million crowdfunders and stuff like that. I was like,
yes,
I kind of feel like YouTubers are quite often doing this, making $1 million Kickstarter. So I decided to do a little bit of a dive, and it looks like 20% of $1 million TTRPG Kickstarters are by YouTube creators. 11 out of 50.
Yeah.
So YouTube, I mean, it does look like being a YouTube creator is one of the very best ways. In fact, it is the single best way, because I can't think of any other category that has 20%. So it is the single best way of just capitalizing on an existing audience and having a massive Kickstarter.
So there we go. That's the secret to getting success at Kickstarter.
Be already successful. Yeah.
First, achieve wild success on online streaming platforms like YouTube, and then just seamlessly transition into game design, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. As Talk KS. How do you say Talk KSC? Says I think there's a bit of advantage to having a pre-established audience of being on a platform like YouTube. Yeah, of course. I think I kind of feel like you don't see the thing the other way around though. So you do see quite a lot of YouTubers having massive followings and then doing very well in the actual tabletop publishing space. But if you look at the online presence, the online YouTube presence and things like that of most publishers, and we're talking Wizards aside, because Wizards got such a massive marketing reach. Do you look at things like Paizo, the second biggest, things like that, and then you look at their YouTube channel, or look at our YouTube channel at EM Publishing, because obviously it's not what Paizo does. Paizo isn't a YouTuber. If you go and look at their YouTube channel, it's not particularly popular at all compared to these YouTubers. So you don't see it go the other way. Tabletop gaming companies don't tend to be able to break into the YouTubing space. YouTubers do tend to be able to break into the gaming tabletop publishing space. And I thought that was an interesting thing. Part of it is I kind of feel like for a tabletop gaming publisher, having a YouTube channel is literally just a secondary side thing. It's just there for marketing purposes, and it's not the thing you do. So that makes a big difference.
For the purpose of breaking into the space, what we mean is that people buy their stuff.
Yes, yeah. Having a big product come out and sell well. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah. Like, but is that product something that you're going to be playing? Who knows? Like, I must say, I do quite like this whole Monster Hunter vibe approach to a monster manual, because I can see how that would be quite a good way to get you playing more.
I think the kind of poster child for YouTuber launching a publishing company off the back of that is probably Matt Colville. It was had multiple multi-million-dollar Kickstarters or backer kits, crowdfunders, off of the back of a massive following on YouTube. And I think he was probably the first one to do that big, but there's been lots of people who have done it since, but continues to do so. And certainly like MCDM has not been in any way kind of like a flash in the pan or a one-hit wonder or anything. It's continued to capitalize on that and built an entire company on the back of that, and continues to do really, really well. Like every other year they have like a $4 million crowdfunder, and it's not going down. Yeah,
but Matt Colville was doing D&D since like started doing that sort of thing in 3rd edition, went through 4th edition, joined 5th edition, so I would argue is a designer as well as a YouTuber.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So this, I feel, is maybe like a different thing. He's a designer with a successful YouTube channel, as opposed to a YouTuber who's entered the design space and been very commercially successful. And I mean, game design isn't that hard, so who knows?
Like, it was an interesting thing about MCDM. They did a YouTube video, obviously, talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff, and they revealed some of the sort of salaries and things that they pay, and they pay 35 cents a word to writers, which is astonishingly high. The average, I think, is around 6 cents a word in the industry. So they pay very, very well to writers. They pay writers $50 an hour for meetings. They pay writers for revisions of manuscripts if manuscripts are sent back for revision.
Wow.
You know, they're very, 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 very good to their staff. I mean, when you've got millions and millions of dollars, I guess it's easy to be good to your staff. But they are very, very, very good to their staff. So I thought that was interesting. But 35 cents a word is high for the industry. Not necessarily in publishing in general, but in the TTRPG space.
It's like pretty wild. So yeah. Fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I think we've pretty much come to the end of the show.
Yes. There was one Starfinder bit of news I wanted to say.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Which is that the computer game Starfinder Afterlight, if you back the Kickstarter, you should check your details, because the beta is now available to you on Steam.
Awesome. Do you have that?
I have. I've actually downloaded it it just finished before the show.
Oh, right. You haven't tried it.
But
how about next week?
We'll
talk about Master, and we'll talk about if you have a chance to play both of them. Obviously, I won't have played them because I don't have them, but you could talk about them next week.
Oh, go on then. If you insist, I'll just.
If you can persuade Jess to play one of them, Jess will play them.
Yeah, she shouldn't actually. That being letting her play on my computer, so no, I don't think so. But yes. Anyway, yeah. So if you insist, I'll attempt to play more computer games between now and next week.
I know. It's hard.
Such a laborious tasks. The labors of Hercules piled upon my back, but I'm that good a friend to you, Russ, that I'll have a go.
I don't know what to say, Peter. It's just
It's okay. It's I'm just that great.
Just selfless. They're just so selfless.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, with that, should we get out of here? Should we go and have a weekend?
Yes.
Because it's actually not raining anymore.
I know.
The sort of 60-odd days of rain finally came to an end. Which is a real shame because I built an ark and everything.
Oh, well, never mind.
I've got 2 dogs, so that's a good start. Built an ark.
Both your dogs are A male and B neutered. So
yeah, I don't think I'm going to repopulate the animal kingdoms with my 2 dogs.
No, but for many reasons.
Yes.
But apart from those 2 minor drawbacks, it's a great plan.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
Moving on.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, everyone. We will be back here, same time, same place. Jess should be back next week as well. And goodbye. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus is unofficial tabletop RPG.